People fear what they do not understand. This fear manifests itself in many different ways. However, the most common is violence. And this is a violence that the transgender community faces on a daily basis. A recent example of this is the case of Monica Diamond, who was murdered in March of this year, 2020. She was experiencing breathing problems, and when the paramedics came to assist her, Elliot Kuzach of the HRC reported, after Diamond was placed in the ambulance, she was shot several times. The murderer was Prentice Boss. This man faced murder charges, however, did not face any hate crime charges. Now, why would somebody go to commit such a heinous and cold-hearted crime? The two main factors of this are lack of education and the fear of not understanding this person's lifestyle or this person's orientation. Today I'll be talking about the discrimination against the transgender community, the problem within itself, cause, as well as possible solutions. Starting off with the problem itself, we're going to start with small scale and talk about the individual identity of the person. Transgender people tend to have significant body dysmorphia. They feel like they were born into the wrong body. Their body doesn't fit them. Brandon Velez of the Journal of Counseling Psychology in October 2016 wrote, transgender students were more likely to self-report eating disorder diagnoses and compensatory behaviors. These people just feel like they don't fit within their skin. They need to compensate with over-exercising, trying to mold their body to feel like they fit within it. However, they never really reached that point. Next is the family aspect. Erica Chin of the Journal of the American Child and Adolescent Psychiatry in October 2016 wrote, approximately 59% of transgender youth face negative reactions when coming out to their families. Families are the cornerstone of how a child's raised, how a child sees the outlook of the world. A child's parents are their first heroes. And when those heroes turn on them and don't accept them for who they are, that just aggrandizes this whole idea that they don't fit in. They don't meet what society wants them to, or what their family wants them to, or what they think they should be. Moving on to the largest picture is society within itself. Society has these different gender roles, these different pigeonholes that people should fit in. Men should do this, women should do that. Men should be masculine and never show emotion. Women should be sensitive and constantly show emotion. However, these transgender or non-binary people don't fit into either of these pigeonholes. They fit in the middle, they fit far one side, far another side, or nowhere at all. Sam Winter of The Lancet in July of 2016 wrote, transgender people live on the margins of society, facing stigma, discrimination, exclusion, poor health, and violence. These people are discriminated against because they feel like they don't belong. They live in a society that tells them they don't belong. They face health practitioners that don't understand how to treat somebody that has this mindset. They don't understand how to treat a person that feels like they don't fit into these pigeonholes. And because of the misunderstanding, people discriminate against them because they're different. They exclude them because they fear the difference. And overall, like within society and within the individual, they don't feel like they fit in. Within the family excludes them. Within society, they just aren't fitting the molds that society puts forth for them, which leads into more causes of the problem. One specific cause of the problem is westernization. Western society has built these pigeonholes for people to fit into. Different tribes, such as the reported by Colorado University of Boulder's Gender and Ethnic Studies in 2016 writes about the Sakatra. The Sakatra of Madagascar exhibit feminine behaviors from early childhood that are accepted as natural by society. These are men that do the women's roles with the women, fit more feminine features with male biology, and they're revered, they're accepted, because they're considered two souls that merged into one body, a male and a female soul living in a male body, which destroys the whole dissenters' argument that non-binary and transgender is unnatural. These tribes that don't have access to all this information that more developed countries do understand that social concepts are just constructs of society rather than being natural terms. Moving on, tribalism is the next cause of this problem, cause of the discrimination against the transgender community. Tribalism is described by Oxford University as being social groups that form tribes and exclude members of the other tribe. Therefore, that makes it justifiable in their mind to exclude these people, these transgender people, these people that are different. It allows them to enact violence because they think they're not my people, they're not who I am, they're not within my group. They're not the in group, they're the out group, therefore they are lesser. Dominion Post in January of 2008 wrote, "Tribalism is everywhere, and where it is strongest, violent conflict erupts." This tribalism incites violence, it dehumanizes the other side. And because these people are misunderstood, because the transgender people are in the minority, they face this violence much more often than people of cisgender. Now, moving towards solutions, the main solution is representation. Transgender people face a grossly disproportionately little amount of representation in American media as well as American politics. Jeremy Russell Miller wrote in his Cross-Dressing Cinema, an analysis of trans representation in film in 2012, said, "Transgender representation generally distanced the transgender characters from the audience as objects of ridicule, fear, and sympathy. They make a caricature out of this community. They make stereotypes similar to how old American media portrayed minorities and portrayed the ethnic communities. They just create straw men that they can poke fun of and laugh rather than actually going through and delving into the deep plights and misunderstandings that these transgender people have." Moving on to the next possible solution would be education. John P. Elia in the Journal of LGBT Youth in 2010 wrote, "School-based sexuality education has been taught from a specific kind of heterosexual perspective that has excluded lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer-oriented people." If we can teach children that these different lifestyles, that these different orientations are acceptable, then it'll trickle into the family life. They will teach their children that it's acceptable and also have conversations with their parents about the different ideals if they're less accepting than the child is. And overall, this will blow up and ripple into a societal impact. Society will shift from this, and it all starts from education. In conclusion, the transgender people face discrimination, and now that we've gone over the problem itself, the cause, and its solution, we need to enact these solutions in order to stop the misunderstanding, stop the violence, stop the discrimination. If we're really going to call America the land of the free, we need to free these people from this misunderstanding. We need to free these people to live the lives that they want to live. Thank you so much.